Hi, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is Jairam Rajaram, managing partner of Brill, here with another episode of BrilTalks. Today, I have with me my guru of the material world. He's such a phenomenal person that, you know, he's one of the best professors you can have in the world. And I have been blessed and so fortunate to be a part of the first batch at a school he founded, Great Lakes Institute of Management, Chennai. And I've had the honor and privilege of having such a close association with Uncle Bala, as we all dearly call him. He's like my uncle, he's like another father to me. I've been in touch with him ever since my Great Lakes days in 2004-5. And I can't tell you how much he has positively impacted my life, how much he has taught me, and the way he goes around building a network with no agenda. I don't think any person on planet Earth can do it as well as Dr. Bala Balachandran, Uncle Bala. So, guests, please welcome Dr. Bala Balachandran. I'll just give a brief introduction of his designation and what he has done. Dr. Bala Balachandran is a J.L. Kellogg Distinguished Professor Emeritus in Service of Accounting and Information Management, Northwestern University, USA. Founder, Chairman and Dean Emeritus, Great Lakes Institute of Management, India. Founder and Chancellor, Great Lakes International University, City, Andhra Pradesh, India. He is a Padma Shri awardee. He is one of the 50 most influential Indian Americans awarded by India abroad. Am I right? Did I get that correct, Uncle
Yes,
Bala?
correct.
Great. So, as I said, we are going to discuss his life journey. Okay, because he's got such an interesting story. I don't think too many people have an interesting story. He's been part of the armed forces. Even when he logged in for this session, he was like bang on, just around 30 to 40 seconds before the start of the meeting. And that's phenomenal. So, and he became an entrepreneur at 67. Did I get that right? 67, right? When you started Great Lakes, and prior to that, you started, you were part of the founding team of the Indian School of Business and IMD in Ghaziabad, right? Or Gurgaon.
MDA
Gurgaon, right. So, Uncle Bala, welcome to a BrilTalks session. This is going to be a casual chat, so we're going to enjoy ourselves. So I'd like to know a bit about your early life. Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
Okay.
And your stint with the armed forces and how that impacted your life.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts with your viewers of BrilTalks. Just like the viewers, you may not know, in the very first batch, there was somebody called, or some group called Super Six. There were 6 students in the entire class who were constant advisors for me when we were doing that. And one of them is nobody other than Jairam Rajaram. So I am so pleased to be with you. And unfortunately, one of the main guy in that list is no more by name Narsingh Rao. His popular name is called Murali. And unfortunately, he died out of cancer. And I am so glad my second son is a cancer expert with a team of Nobel laureate 2 years back. They created what is called as an immunotherapy, which is now giving a lot of life to people who are given the ultimatum of terminal cancer and a death, but they are not dying. So anyway, I hope Narsingh Rao was having the treatment, but it came later on. Anyway, I really thank you very much for this opportunity.
My pleasure, Uncle Bala. And you said we were part of 6 people who represented it. I think the culture you built at Great Lakes, and now you've made it a top 5 university in India, which is phenomenal. So the culture you built was it was a student-run institute.
I think I can pull that plug.
So, being part of the six students who represented the issues in the first year to you, that's
Yeah,
not the important bit, Uncle Bala. You were so customer centric that every
exactly.
single thing that we spoke about was implemented, and we got some of the best faculty from across the world. We were studying out of one building in Saidapet in Srinagar colony in Chennai, but you got the whole world teaching us out of
Yeah,
that
with it.
building, which
Correct,
is
correct,
phenomenal. I'll never
correct,
forget that the first day at Image Auditorium when
correct,
you gave
correct.
that lecture. So it
To
was it
be
was love
precise,
it. Yeah.
April 30th, 2004.
Wow. See, I don't remember the date. You remember the date too.
Of course,
And
yes.
and when I saw you, it was love at first sight. So
Correct. No, it
so
is very important for me because I come from Kellogg. The culture of Kellogg is customer centricity or customer delight. I would rather like to use the word now customer astonishment.
wow.
Can you
Yeah.
astonish my customer? If you are always expecting, oh, this is another school, so here is a boss, that guy is going to dominate, we will be dictatorial, etc. No, it is the other way. It should be a customer pull and never a supplier push. So that is my culture, and that's why I made the name Uncle Bala. So
Uncle
it's one
Bala.
more way you can. I am accessible, affordable, available. You can reach me just like a member of the family. That family culture is extremely important because the risk is completely shared. If there are two sets of customers in any education institution. One, the current students, they are the most important, but they are going to be the recruiters also later on. All
Correct.
right. And if you are not able to make a deeper impact beyond the call of the duty, that is why I use the word passion, but passion with compassion. The students are coming there, leaving their home and leaving their parents, and they may be psychologically feeling bad, and you try to be a tyrant, forget it. You will not get the thing. You got to
Absolutely.
have a mental happiness before you impart any education,
See,
and
since
that
since
is
we are
very
on this
important.
topic, since we are on this topic, I would like to bring to the attention of our viewers an incident that happened in Great Lakes. We'll come to your early life after this. Since this
Yeah,
is flowing. Narsingh Rao, you mentioned late Narsingh Rao, the great Narsingh Rao. Okay, there was
yeah.
there was this professor from a very very reputed Indian business school. Okay, I'm not going to take anybody's name, but then it's an interesting piece.
Yeah,
So he kept saying, "Oh, in my school, the students are like this and like that and stuff like that." And the late Narsingh Rao, in his typical style, got up and he said, "See, you don't understand the kind of students that Professor Bala, who we call Uncle Bala, has recruited. Okay. He's got 130 students from such a diverse background. There are people who've run organizations for more than 20 years over here, been part of organizations for 15 to 17 years. So this mix, you cannot compare with other B schools. So if you're not interested in teaching over here, it doesn't matter. You can always tell Uncle Bala and he
take
won't
off,
mind.
take off, take
That
off.
was so nursing.
No, that is correct.
Yeah.
He is somebody like that. He cannot
Fantastic.
stand. He cannot stand bullshit. Don't give me that bullshit about school. You see, the
Correct.
people is more important than the building and all the school. In
Exactly.
first year itself, in the very first year, if
Hmm.
you are able to place all the students 100%, not 99%, that is because of the culture.
Right.
Culture. Hey, we care and share. We are together. Achieve with humility, succeed with integrity. No other way. That's the
Correct.
only way. So we did that right from the beginning. And that is because of Kellogg. Kellogg culture, my dean's culture is exactly that. He will do, he will go out of the way to the students' happiness. But he also knows there are customers, but there are also customers.
Customers.
Customers are those who create some headache to you. So
Correct.
there you have to take a gun, but not to everybody.
Absolutely. So Uncle Bala, let's come back to your initial years. Where were you born? A bit
Okay,
about your parents and your upbringing, and how
I
did you go to the US post your stint with the armed forces?
both my father and mother are from villages. My father's village is called Pudupatti, which is near Pudukkottai. Whereas my mother's village is called Kadaramangalam near Mayavaram. All right. So as the first child, I was to be, generally the lady's side, the mother's side takes care of. So since Kadaramangalam, the nearest hospital, he was a Jamindar, my grandfather or my mother's father. So he took us took my mother, pregnant mother, to Kumbakonam Government Hospital. So technically, my birth is in Kumbakonam Government Hospital exactly for 2 days. That's all my Kumbakonam affair. After that, I was in Kadaramangalam, but I grew up in Pudukkottai because my father was from Pudukkottai. So technically, I should say my origin is Pudukkottai, not necessarily Kumbakonam, but I was born in Kumbakonam. And I am very proud of that. This is some great people who are there. Including Srinivasa, Ramanujam, and all kinds of people. But anyway, the point is, my childhood is essentially from Pudukkottai. So right from after the mother treated the child in Kadaramangalam or Kumbakonam for about 10 days, then they all went back to Pudukkottai. By that time, my father settled as an advocate and notary in Pudukkottai. So therefore, they went to Pudukkottai, including me as a 10-day-old child. So actually, the birthday, that Namagaranam or something like that on the 10th day, that was done at Kadaramangalam. And then from Kadaramangalam, I went to Pudukkottai. That's what it is. And so my earlier childhood, schooling, high school, everything was in Pudukkottai. So my basic up to 8th grade was at a place called Kulabati Balaya School, and I was one of the good students there up to 8 years. After that, I went to something called Christian Swedish Mission High School for 3 years. That is the 9th, 10th, and 11th, and that is called SSLC, Secondary School Leaving Certificate. Government of Tamil Nadu or Government of India organization give this award. And then I went to something called intermediate, called Pudukkottai Raja's College, where the actor Gemini Ganesan, and I'm also classmate of another actor by name AVM Rajan, whose name originally was Shanmuga Sundar. From second class to bachelor's degree, he was my classmate. Anyway, that's what it is. And then Annamala University. We have a nice book, I will give you, it's also in Kindle. It's called Dare to Dream, where my childhood days, all those documentation are given.
Right.
So essentially, I am a village guy, settled in a tier 2, now it is a district, a tier 2 city in India, or maybe even tier 3, and that is called Pudukkottai, which is at that time, I was born before independence, 1937, I'm 83 years plus. Somebody asked me, are you retired? I said, I am not even tired. So let's talk about retired later on. So I'm not, so technically retired, but I'm still working very hard for my school. So the key point is my education was basically in India, Annamala University, my statistics honors, and then I was a lecturer right there. And then due to a USAID program where I was selected to go attend in Madras or Chennai at that time. In Chennai now, Madras at that time. And the professor there wanted me to come to US, and that's how I went to US, all the way to the PhD from Carnegie Mellon via Dayton, Ohio and Ohio State. So I am an engineer, statistics honors India, but engineering, mechanical at Ohio State and Dayton, taught industrial engineering, and my PhD thesis in operation research, but I also SCPA later on. So that's the kind of my early days. And you have another question.
The armed forces, you had a stint.
Yeah. See, the point was around 1961 or so. As a lecturer, I was selected for what is called a National Cadet Corps, NCC lieutenant. So my training was in Kamptee near Nagpur, and also in Kadakwasla. So I was best marksman, outstanding officer. So in the 1962, the Chinese aggression came. There was a call from the then Prime Minister, or the first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, for some people to go on a short service commission, and without telling my parents, because they will not allow me, and I am the first son also. So I just straight went, and because my credentials are exceptional in less than 1 to 2 weeks of training, because I did 6 months training all over the place. Dehradun, Kadakavasala, Ketki, Kamti, Purandar, Pune, Southern Command headquarters. So all the people wanted me, so I just went in quietly, and I needed not a rifle. I wanted a big tank at that time called Sherman tank. Now Vajayanta tank came. So I was in the army as a gunner, not originally a gunner, then an armored corps, and I have the good fortune of fighting the Chinese directly.
Wow.
Uh, I had
And,
my
and,
heart
and it's
conquered.
become so relevant now, right?
Yeah, it is very relevant because that leadership is still, I can never forget. Actually, if you see, I have a photograph. I think I think Jairam has it with a captain in the army, and I finished that. And when the Chinese aggression over, I came back to Chennai, and I was a NCC officer for Group Headquarters B in Kushal Das Gardens, which is opposite to Pachapas College. And then I moved to Sterling Road also. So anyway, I was very much involved in the armed forces, which gave me a very good discipline, time, punctuality, and every minute counts. You slack 1 minute, the whole platoon may be dead. So you cannot afford to. You got to be extremely alert, because I also leave alone that military, but it is insult to anybody if you say you are come at 9 o'clock. You better be at 9 o'clock,
Absolutely.
because the other guy is not a joker. So you are insulting him. Some people deliberately come late. It's a height of hypocrisy and height of
Yeah, it's
arrogance.
impossible.
No,
Yeah.
I don't like them. I am tremendously on top. At least 5 minutes ahead of time, I'll be there.
My
Plan
my wife
everything.
complains that I don't take her time alone seriously.
I can see that everywhere,
She
everywhere.
says, why don't you try doing this with some meeting of yours?
But this whole idea of military service, armored corps service, especially if you are outnumbered, and that is where my constrained optimization of PhD comes in. How can you have lesser resources and achieve greater goods? So even
Right.
in Great Lakes, if you notice it, our campus is just a home, less than 1 acre. And actually, I wanted to be a world-class school. And somebody actually asked, Jairam definitely remembers, there is a big hall with the two huge pillars in the middle, right in the center. So the people, students staying in the back cannot see anything, the teacher or the PowerPoint or the screen. But that is what it is. It is the people that makes the difference, not the building. Of course, right now we have a super platinum rated green campus, but I was doing it all by myself with only my resources after seeing the experience at ISB with too much of resources, too many people, too many cooks spoil the food. Whereas here it's only one. So my philosophy is simple. If anything goes right, you take the credit. If anything goes wrong, there is only one guy to be blamed. That is me. Nobody can argue with that, right? So
Absolutely.
I took the deanship, founder, everything. That's it.
So
With the
coming to
input
that,
I have
Uncle
back.
Bala, why would you get into this whole crazy entrepreneurial journey at 67 years of age when you could have very easily retired and had an easy life because you had everything? Wow. After you had taught for so many years at Kellogg, you really
Yeah.
didn't have to do this. What drove you
See
to
this.
start
My
creating?
my point is the following. There is one important reason why I became a entrepreneur at age 67. See, when you are having a cushy life, the best life, in my opinion, in any business, any profession, or business, in my opinion, is a tenured professorship at a US top school. Why? You work 24/7. What is meant by 24/7? 24 hours in a month and 7 months in a year. Can
I wanted to
anybody
hear
get a
that.
full, can anybody get a full-time salary for working 24 hours in a month, not 24 hours in a day? Whereas in entrepreneurship, you will be working 24 hours in a day.
Right.
So that is the other extreme. 24 hours in a month, that's all my teaching load. And 7 months in a year. The remaining 5 months, Christmas holidays, Dasara holidays, summer holidays. What holidays? Holiday for us.
Yeah.
So it is not holiday, you know. So you are doing nothing. So when you are doing nothing and nothing, you get bored. And I cannot be bored. Okay, number one. Number two, when I started this ISB, and before that MDI Gurgaon, with the MDI Gurgaon with United Nations money, they gave about $1 million to Kellogg to create a world-class school in India, and that's how we started the MBA program at MDI. I started that during the year 1991 to 1995. Now, after that, we thought of doing something for the country. But generally, a professor is always a sort of a thinker. He's always an employee, not an employer. So I was head of the dean search committee, faculty search committee, etc. Everything went very well. But note that I did work in Delhi. I did work for Hyderabad, originally supposed to be in Bombay. And everybody in South Madras, they're saying there is no good business school at all. Loyola College is probably the only one, really speaking, called JIBA. All right. I'm sorry, LIBA.
Liba, Liba.
Loyola Institute of Business Administration. And everybody saying you are doing all kinds of things in other states. You are a Madrasi, you lived in Madras and your hometown is in Madras. What are you doing? So therefore I decided, why not I do something? Note that at that time, just 2 years before, I had a quintuple bypass surgery and I paid for one and got four free. A fantastic business model, right? You know, pay for one and get four free. Who will give it to you? I did that.
I wanted all this in a recording, Uncle Bala. This is so
Please have
important.
it.
I love these jokes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is. It is also important. Fixed cost, variable cost,
Correct.
right? So you have to be an entrepreneur, right? So I did that. So when this whole thing, I was in a meeting at Hyderabad at Indian School of Business. Rajat Gupta, my neighbor, wanted me to do that. I did that. So I said, Rajat and others, I think India needs at least 25 good business schools, at least one or two schools per state. And I'm going to do one in Chennai. And he says, you cannot do it. Why do you say I cannot do it? Well, you are working for ISB, and yes, I will help still ISB. You have 4 daughters. Did you stop with only one daughter? All right. So, what is that? I will do ISB also, and I will do this also. What is the big deal? Anyway, I am from Kellogg. I am not here full time.
Right.
So what is it? No. I am going to tell your dean. You are going to tell my dean? Guess what? This ISB came because of me. And my dean knows me. So he went and had the guts or stupidity to go to him and say, you cannot allow Bala to do this stuff. Hey, mister, you don't understand our culture. Even though legally I am his boss, Bala is my boss. Why? The students adore him. He was the outstanding
Correct.
professor. I touch him, the students will make a revolt and my job will be off. This is not McKinsey, nor anything else.
It's not hire and fire.
And that's right. And then when I came back, he could not do it. Then he made an ultimate insulting weapon for me. If somebody insults me or my mother, I will go like a raging bull or a raging lion. He said, you cannot do it because you are, after all, a professor. That
Wow.
means you don't have money. I couldn't take it. Take it. That's it. You are telling me, after all, a professor, you cannot do what I can do, whereas I can do what you do. Okay? So don't think I got an amazing job even as a research partner at Pitt Marwick and Ernst and Young. 3 times the salary. Money doesn't attract me. Yes, money is important, not enough. Not so. I wanted to take the challenge,
Right.
and I converted that challenge as an opportunity. And therefore, even though I had a quintuple bypass surgery, and everybody says slow down, but my anger, which is converted into creativity in a positive way,
Right.
turned out to create this thing exclusively by only my money. All the money I
So
had,
you
I put it in.
you pledged your house in Chennai.
Correct. I
Took a
sold my house.
loan, correct?
Correct.
At
Exactly
67
right.
years of age. Not a joke.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Exactly. That's why I put all the money. And now, guess what? We don't have a single dollar of a liability. And we have two campuses. It's all in the mind. That's all. If you have the heart, you can do it. Analyze through your brain, but achieve through your heart. My heart was with my students, and they know it. And
Yeah.
that's all
So
it takes.
a guru with a broken but extremely compassionate heart.
Exactly right.
We had that,
Exactly.
and
Beautiful
I can
characteristic.
vouch for that heart because
Passion with compassion. No question
absolutely.
about it.
No, Uncle Bala,
Passion is needed, but passion with compassion is much better, necessary and sufficient to create a nice school. And yes,
absolutely.
now we are accredited. We are accredited by other organizations. University of Chicago Booth is joining us as an MOU, and we are going to do even more. Given that this Harvard Business School dean is my mentee, and you might have seen the article, we will have some relationship with Harvard also. So, so the time changes. We cannot
Absolutely.
insult anybody just because of their financial condition. Every human
Such
being
an important point for future entrepreneurs and people, even entrepreneurs who are very successful. Never underestimate anybody.
never
I mean,
underestimate
you
anybody.
need not look up at anyone. Never look down on anyone as well.
Exactly.
So
Always look up. People are people.
right,
God has created everybody equal.
people,
You had an opportunity, they don't. That's all. I
absolutely.
chose to be an entrepreneur, and I am thanking profusely Rajat Gupta
Right.
for creating this kind of a challenge on me, and therefore I am able to deliver that. So
See,
we are different. Thus we make a
situations.
difference.
God creates those situations in our life, right? Which
Absolutely.
eggs us on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
And especially if you are insulted, you are full, this is like a spring. You press the spring completely, leave it, it comes, bounces back and that's
right.
it. The more you press, you bounce so fast and
And
so
what a
strong.
school you have built, Uncle Bala. What a school.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Fantastic. So, how do you go about networking, Uncle Bala? I know how you do it, but this is for our viewers. So
Actually,
you have this very
actually,
interesting line which says your network
in
is your
my
net worth,
opinion,
which is true.
yeah, in my opinion, network is your net worth. Network is your net worth. The whole world, if you really look at it, what is called Bharat? Bhava, Raga, Tala. Bhava are people, Raga is process, Tala is technology. People, process, technology for any entrepreneur. But the people first understand that. If you
Right?
don't have your people really, any amount of wealth, any amount of technology is going to fail. It may succeed in the beginning. If you
Correct.
don't have the right people, and not only that, you have to also know there are two ways to serve a company. You can be a squirrel to serve Rama, or you can be a Hanuman to serve Rama. Hanuman is one in one, squirrel is one in million. All right? What do you want to be? You got to be a Hanuman if you want to do that. Service, leadership.
Hmm.
Leadership with a service mentality, not leadership with an arrogant mentality.
Correct.
You are never a dictator. Any dictator will never succeed.
True.
Whereas a person, Gandhi succeeded with nothing. How did he succeed? Surely he was able to mobilize the people and he became one of them. He traveled in what is called as a Janata class or a third class in the train as a half-naked fakir because it is hot. You cannot have a three-piece suit in a,
Correct.
in a train, in those days at least. So the point is your humility and treating the people. Arrogance has no place. Achieve with humility and succeed with integrity. No other choice for you. So therefore, you have to be Genuinely humble,
Correct.
not act humble, number one.
Absolutely.
Secondly, if you go to a person with an agenda in mind, it won't work. You have not even met. You cannot date a person and say, I want to go to bed right away. No,
Right.
take it easy, man. What is a hurry? No, the point is the following, very simple.
Yeah.
Cultivate the relationship. Network with an agenda will not work, ever. There is an article based on an interview with me in Economic Times. This was a long time back, but it's a full page article. So the question is, you don't have an agenda, but of course you have an agenda, but let it sit for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. Cultivate a relationship. See what you have done to the guy first. You got to do something very good, very sensible, especially if you do something which that person needs it and you are able to fulfill, you do that. And by doing that and without any return, for example, please note that if the denominator is zero, the return on investment is infinite.
Yeah.
So don't expect anything. Do your thing. You just keep giving whatever you can do. Please note that. That's
Correct.
why you are meeting that person. And cultivate a relationship 1 year, 2 year. Write letters at Diwali or Dasara or any other. If you know the birthday. If you send a birthday greeting from, for example, I bet you today on 22nd of December this year, there will be a call from me to Ratan Tata.
Hmm.
Why? That's his birthday.
Right.
Many people may forget it because he's not the group chairman now.
Right.
But I remember that.
Right.
So that is genuine, not that. If
Correct.
if you are in power, I salute you. If you don't power, you are nobody. Wait a minute. It won't work.
Correct.
You got to be completely, genuinely interested in the person. Then, yes, of course, I need something also. That time, there is something called theory of reciprocity. If
Hmm.
you have done enough and enough, that person will feel guilty because that person is a generous person,
Right.
responsible person, rich person. He doesn't need anything.
Right.
But at the same time, he wanted to do something back to you.
Right. Correct.
That is called reciprocity. So now you slowly bring your point that you need. It will work.
Absolutely.
And
And
that is very,
I
very
think
important.
I
So it's
learned
a
so
give
much
and take.
from
It
you.
cannot be take, take, take.
Absolutely. And I think what
Very
for
important.
me personally at Great Lakes, we built that school together. So we went out and we got people to
Right.
recruit. Okay. So the only thing that we
Yeah.
had was pooling in our resources and pooling in our networks, and how we were able to marshal the
Exactly.
troops to get 130 people placed. Okay, of course, I didn't sit for placement,
Yeah.
so probably one or two others like me.
So we got
But
130 people.
balance.
As a matter of fact, you know one thing.
Yeah.
I think Sriram also made that in a interview.
Yeah.
Late Sriram. So
Right.
both of us went to Narayana Murthy. I know Narayana Murthy.
Right.
All right, I went there. Narayana Murthy said, "Look, we went there for a potential job for my students
Hmm.
graduating." So he said, "Can I have some coffee or tea?" Murthy, I don't want coffee or tea. Please bring your HR guy. I want to make sure my students get a job right now. That's
Right.
it. Murthy was, this guy is not even taking a bloody coffee. He's such a focused guy. I came there for one purpose.
Right.
Even Sriram got shocked.
Hmm.
Sir, what are you talking? You don't want coffee? No, he may be, no. Understand, what am I doing? Am I asking for myself? I am asking for my students.
Right.
Yes, if my students are better, I am better, right?
Right.
So I got to make sure everyone who borrowed money and put their trust in me goes back with a smile in their face. I came here, I got what I wanted.
My,
And he has to pay back that money.
my entire batch and several batches after that will vouch for the personal care and attention that you have taken to get people not jobs but good careers.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
So
And
it's
that is important, because note that if we are able to demonstrate right in the first year, then we got it. And not only that, because of my network, look what I have done. I did not take advantage of the network. I wanted my school to be tier one. This is the first year.
Yeah.
There is no poll, no ranking, nothing. All they know is Bala. That's it.
Right.
That is Bala school. All right. I took advantage of that. All right. My network is there, and therefore I want that to be a tier one. TCS Infosys called us as tier one in the very first year.
Right. Fantastic.
That's it.
So, and I'll never forget 2003, I think you had come for the Margari Music Festival in Chennai.
Exactly right.
When there was an article in either the Economic Times or the Hindu, I don't remember. And I had gotten into some good universities in the UK. But I didn't
Correct.
want to go because I'm a Tair Sadam kind of a guy. Okay. So, and my
Hey,
grandparents were in
Tair
Chennai.
Sadam is
Starting
the
us.
best food, man.
Huh? Sorry?
Tair Sadam is the best food.
Absolutely. It's
It's
God's own food.
no problem, I tell you.
So, being a Tair Sadam kind of a guy, when my mother called me down and she said, listen, there is some Professor Bala Balachandran who's come for the Margari Music Festival, and my parents love Carnatic music. Okay. So this sounds very interesting. He's from Kellogg and he's behind the ISB. Why don't you consider this? When I saw that, I said, aha, fantastic. And immediately I applied and I went for the interview. And before I came back then, I took the night mail back to Bangalore. Okay. And before I reached, the offer letter was there. That's an advantage of being part of the first batch, you know. So they said, have you taken this test? I said, no, I've taken the GRE. This is supposed to be a top-notch B school and you're not accepting GRE. And I wrote to you and Professor Singh. The next day I get a reply saying, okay, we are accepting GRE scores.
Finished.
That's it.
That's it.
So, decisions can be taken so quickly. Can you speak a bit about decision making and in entrepreneurship, in which area of business for you was the most important while you were building Great Lakes? And did it tally and match with the theoretical aspects that you knew as a professor?
See, this is very, very important to me. Decision making is absolutely important. And I have a very simple rule, 30-70 rule. I will spend time to get at least 30% of the information. If I have already reached the 70% of the information, I am wasting time.
Right.
You got to make the decision right now. This is called money value of time, not time value of money.
Yep.
If you do not do the decision now and lose the competitive advantage you have now, you are off. Let me tell you the competitive, you talked about not even 1 minute late. Let me talk about this stuff. Suppose I come 5 minutes late. Then I have to either apologize to Jairam that I am late by 5 minutes, or I have to say a lie. I came in at traffic. There is a traffic jam. Both of them are wrong. So you have already given the competitive advantage to Jairam. When you started apologizing or lying, you lost your credibility, man, right there.
Yeah.
On the contrary, if I am going there 1 minute before, he doesn't have, I'm just talking about business sense in this stuff. When any meeting, you got to seize your competitive advantage.
Right.
Be there on damn time.
Absolutely.
Never have a reason to apologize. If you go late, you are either lying, that means you are not true to your conscience. And if you are conscientious, your words are not going to be stronger.
Right.
Because you are feeling guilty. You made a mistake.
Right.
But of course, the other guy does not know. Or you are honest, but you apologize. Either way, you are losing. So the key point is you do not take unnecessary time by collecting more and more information. Second, you have to bite the bullet as an entrepreneur. I was acting as an entrepreneur, not as a dean alone. It is my money is at stake. Nobody can question me. If it is lost, it is my loss. Why is the shit you worry about it?
Right.
So I have to make the decision because I am competing with people with power, with money, with seniority. IIM. My challenge is with IIM Ahmedabad. That is my benchmark always. I want to be number 2 next to IIM Ahmedabad. The reason is the simple idea. That is, if you are in an elevator building, there are 2 arrows in everywhere, excepting on the top floor. And
Right.
it's only one arrow going down.
Down.
I don't want to be number one. I want to be number two, so
Right.
that I can always look up.
Look up.
There is more motivation to go up. So
Good point.
keep always look at that. So now coming back, so therefore your decision should be as good as possible. And everybody, I always say that uncertainties are inevitable, but worrying is optional. Planning is paramount, and therefore decide right now with a
Correct.
decent plan. Not too much of plan, 30-70 rule, right? And take the decision. Otherwise, you seize the opportunity, you may have the first mover advantage or any advantage. Take the competitive advantage, you are going to succeed. But if you delay for something, somebody else is going to kill you. Even a Vietnamese will kill you. Anybody can kill you.
Right.
You got to take decision.
So, Uncle Bala, according to you, which function of business or area of business is the most important? Or does it
I
change, or does it change depending on which stage a business is at?
see. I think this is I follow the rule of discipline of market leaders. You got to be very good in everything, every decision. Finance, marketing, accounting, operations, strategy, whatever. Everywhere you have to be good. But you have to be so long you are very good. But in one place you got to be outstanding. And so you have to be the benchmark point. Now that depends upon the core competency of the market. I am a big believer of marketing, customer centricity, customer culture, customer first. But very clearly, you got to know not all customers are customers. Some are customers, others are customers.
Customers, yeah.
Some of them are green, giving you gain. Others are red, giving you pain.
Pain.
Some are assets, some are assets with the T silent. You have to understand who is an asset and who is an ass. If you are an ass, kill him. Or if you cannot kill him, you are a ahimsa murti, recommending him to a competition. All right? Let him take the customer.
You
So you got to understand. Now you have customers. They are not customers. Please note that. Their survival is your survival.
right.
That customer may be even an intermediate guy. The end consumer calls the shots. Please understand.
Correct.
There's a difference between a consumer and a customer. So if you want to make the customer happy, then understand what the consumer for that customer.
Right.
And if you make that consumer happy, then this customer automatically happy, and therefore he'll be happy with you.
Right.
So you got to make sure marketing, customer, consumer, all this. I would rather like you to have not even customer delight, customer astonishment.
Right.
If somebody
And
is
Uncle
expecting
Bala, I
some,
would like to add one thing that you did extremely well. Okay. Marketing and customer centricity, of course, that was you're phenomenal at it.
cup of tea.
You you sold. Okay. You did
Yeah,
sales like nobody else.
yeah,
Okay. When you at those meet the dean sessions that I had attended for several years, I think 5-6 years I've attended your meet the dean post graduating, also coming and talking about the school. The way you sold was wow. Okay. So I think that's a point that you miss. And having observed
no,
you,
no, no. See,
I
I'm
think
not
that's such a crucial bit in building an
very, very
organization,
important.
the early stages especially. You've got to do the
The,
selling.
it is not only the way I sold,
Yeah.
but to sell that thing, you got to be a tremendous credibility you should build. See, if this guy is a genuine, the trust and credibility is very important. Trust induces truth.
All right.
So if you are honest and truthful, and at the same time you are trustworthy, then selling is easy because
Correct.
they believe you. Generally buyer beware.
Right.
Salesman can puff,
Yeah.
but if you are genuine, and not only you are do the sales, but you have to make sure after the
You
sale
deliver the value.
that person is happy. That is what brings you the credibility.
Correct.
If everybody knows, hey, you bought it from Bala, I guarantee you are lifelong, you are going to be satisfied. The lifelong kind of thing. It is not a one-time sale. It is not, sales is not an event. Sales is a journey with no destination. With no destination.
Our conversation today is proof enough, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, the relationship that you build, see, I feel special, okay, around you.
Yeah,
But I know that thousands and thousands of students feel special around you.
yeah.
And that is something that is, it's not an easy skill to develop. How do you do that,
No,
Uncle
that
Bala?
is, I think it is essentially the genuine humility and care for the other person. See, the point is, I am a big believer of Bhagavad Gita, even on the whole Bhagavad, that one slogan, Karmanya Vadikaraste Mapale. Don't, if you are expecting a return on investment on everything, you are not going to get a return. All right, I tell you that. Because if you see, I always say this stuff, the return should come automatically. The job itself should be a joy. If you view the job as a joy, I really feel you are going to be amazingly well off. So, so don't expect the return. Do a genuine job with a genuine humility and succeed with integrity. Then multiple times, that is where if you astonish the customer, he is going to work for you. No more is a boss. You
Uncle
first,
Bala, the Nishkama Karma philosophy,
exactly. That
I've
is it.
I've I've built my entire organization around that, and I learned
That
it
on
at
that.
Great Lakes.
Nishkamya karma philosophy is the best philosophy.
It's
You
phenomenal,
know,
and that's the only way you can also be happy, because we have no control over the results. But if you're going all out with your duty,
yeah, all out is the duty and also putting, Tamil, I'm going to use this. Ooran kolandaya ootti valatha, tang kolanda thane valarum. So
right?
if you are taking care of the other guy's child more, then your child will be automatically better off.
Absolutely,
See, so you think about the customer, that person also has customs. That person also have difficulties.
right,
At that time, especially a friend in need is a friend indeed.
correct,
So when there is some struggling, you squeeze that guy. You have no heart.
right.
Decide, analyze with your brain, no question about it, but decide by your heart. That is where Niskame Karma. Don't expect any return. Why do return will come? Not that I'm not an idiot to say, don't worry about the money. No, no.
Correct.
Money should not control you.
It's a
You control
byproduct.
money. You control money. And if you control money, then you will not have stress. So your brain will work better. The
Correct.
stress, you have to make sure the brain can be manipulated, believe it or not.
Right.
You are using only 1/8 of your brain.
Right.
If you assume one more 1/8 is coming there, you will have a competitive advantage than your competitor right there.
Correct.
And that means you have to reduce the stress, not create the stress. But if the money controls you, then you will be worrying about money.
Absolutely.
Similarly, if you are lying through teeth, then you have to remember the goddamn lie.
Correct.
What lie you did, you have to be consistent.
Correct.
Whereas the truth, you don't have to remember.
We don't have
Truth
to
is
worry about anything.
nothing,
Yes. Yeah.
nothing. Everything will come.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Right. Great. So, Uncle Bala, do you have any message to aspiring entrepreneurs?
I, 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 I
Any
really
points that you would like to
tell you what.
make and share with the world?
See, maybe Jairam may not know. I'll tell you this. Right now, we are also made, in addition to that, all kinds of Great Lakes School and whatnot. We are graduating entrepreneurs. Nowhere in the entire world, at the graduation time, 4 companies this time will be graduating. And we got what is called as an AGBI, Atal Innovation Mission, Great Lakes, Balachandran Incubation Center. We started only in November last year. Already among all the incubators, Atal, including the technology incubator, this is the business type of incubation, we are number one. How did we become number one, right? There are, IIT Madras also is an incubator. Am I better than IIT? No, definitely not. But there is a difference. The difference is I am going Niskamya Karma.
Right.
So entrepreneurship is absolutely needed. Every one of you, even if you are a full-time job, think of entrepreneurship on a parallel processing. The reason is very simple. The crisis that you are seeing currently, either
Correct.
COVID or anything, is nothing. You are going to have much more crisis coming up.
Good point.
I want you to know that. Allah. And therefore, if you think you are working in a company for 20 years, 15 years, the company itself may collapse.
Correct. So
So what
we
are you going to
got to
do in
become
your
job creators.
So exactly. So therefore, I'm not saying drop the company, stay there, but you should have a standby. So, and you cannot do alone. I was lucky, God bless myself. Somehow he gave me single-handedly that. But you need 2, 3 people just to find whose body chemistry is not allergic to you, and select the people, complementing and supplementing skills, and try to see come up with an idea. Because of COVID, there are new opportunities coming up. Take some of the thing and do a part-time type of work and create a company and hire a person full-time to work. But when you need and your job is gone or your company is gone, you don't need to wait at all. You just jump into your own company.
Correct.
Every one of you should have 2 jobs.
Correct.
One a job and another an entrepreneurship.
Correct.
Each one of I realize I am an entrepreneur at the age 67.
Right.
There is no age at all. Any time you can do that. Even at the time of deathbed also you can do it.
Right.
If you want it to.
Very,
So
very inspirational.
it's very, very important. Don't underestimate that, and don't believe that you are in a cushy life and nothing is going to happen to you.
Correct.
Forget about it. Nobody is in
We've seen what can happen. I mean, even in my own business, never did I imagine that we would shut down for 2 months and the core business not having practically any sales for 5 months. Okay, so it happened, but we saw it as an opportunity, and we could do a lot of other things in FMCG space and stuff like that. But anything can happen in today's world.
Technology,
It's a VUCA
disruptive, all kinds of things which is going to challenge you. But be proactive. There are 3 ways you can think of. One, something hits you, then you become nervous. But at that time, you're going to have too much of stress. Your house, it will not even recognize you. I can tell you. So you have to be planned. People say pre-plan. All right, that's fine. So you may see you hit the wall, so you react. Or you think the wall is coming, so you are going to react. That is proactive. I want you to go one step. Make sure the wall is behind you, so that the competition hit the damn wall.
True.
You go further, man.
Right.
And the time has come for that.
Yeah.
And everyone, in my opinion, is an entrepreneur by definition.
Very true.
You did not use that opportunity. That's all.
Right.
And you can take that. Similarly, every company is a technology company. Without technology, even any service will not work well.
Right.
So master the technology and be learning. Learn throughout your life. If you divide it into 3 parts. The second part, earn. Why do you have to earn? So that you return. Give it to others. Because you cannot take 1 penny with you.
Absolutely.
In the long run, you go, I go, why ego in between.
Correct.
If your ego is bigger than your logo, you go first. So surrender your ego, succeed with your logo, and work hard for your company.
So that last stage that you spoke about, Dr. Bala, Sringeri Periva says it very beautifully. If you really, really love money and you want to take it with you, you better give it, man.
That's right. Because you cannot take it with you.
If you're not going to donate and contribute, you're not going to take it along with you. It's just going to be
here. You cannot even take your name. Yes. Your first name is dead, last name is body.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. That is going to be all of our names.
So I will wrap up with this very important bit, which I realized much later. I call you, my guru of the material world. I later found out that my spiritual guru inaugurated Great Lakes.
Correct.
Kanchi Periva, I think Bala Periva and Pudu Periva, both of them?
Both of them came. Both of them came.
A guy
by name Gokul in your classmate.
Gokul.
The first application was given by Pudu Periva to Gokul.
Lucky, very, very lucky person.
Spiritual. IQ is important. More than IQ, EQ is important, emotional. And more than that, SQ is important.
Very
spiritual
important.
code. Absolutely. If you have the three, you have all the three. Mata, Pita, Guru. Devam automatically will come.
Absolutely. So that was a fantastic coincidence, and I was very happy to note that when I didn't know that in the first year. I knew it much later actually.
Oh, I see. I do. Actually, there is one other company wanted to buy that at one time.
Hmm.
They were giving, but I didn't want to give it because I have some reservation that that's a smuggler kind of a company. I
Hmm.
do not want to mention the name of the company.
Yeah.
I said after with Guru Mahapriyava, Mahapriyava is my real Guru,
Correct.
and he is no more. And of course, Pudupariva also is no more. So when he has done that, I will குரங்கு கையிலேருந்து இப்போ கிளிய குரங்கு கிட்டியா கொடுக்கறது. So when he has done that thing, I'm not going to give it to this thug, even though there is money is there.
Correct. Correct. So thank you very much, Uncle Bala.
Thanks a lot.
Such a pleasure. You know, it almost looks like we've been meeting every day.
We are.
Nothing has changed.
We are. The mental telepathy is there all the time.
Correct.
You know, whenever I come to Bangalore, there is never an occasion I left without seeing you either in a meeting or at your own home.
Absolutely.
And taking the idli.
So I hope the world gets back to that kind of normalcy soon.
I think it will come.
And
the vaccine is coming.
We should meet soon.
And Biden has won.
Yes.
And there is another beautiful point. We have a check and balance. So Senate is going to be dominated by the Republicans.
Right.
And the Congress is going to be dominated by. So if all the power is in one hand, all right, then you become complacent.
Right.
So you make some stupid decisions.
Right.
Whereas if there is some challenge always, then you have to be mentally alert all the time.
Correct.
Because, you know, everybody is seeking the same goal.
Correct.
Make the country great.
Absolutely. So thank you, Uncle Bala.
Thanks a lot.